31 points for England to 24 for Argentina. England getting the win over Argentina in what was a very hostile environment. A really fun game of rugby to watch. A lot on the line, a lot of passion, a lot of intensity. That was such a good test match, and it was like a football atmosphere as well. The crowd was going crazy. There was booing, there was cheering, there was songs being sang. That's what you want to see at these rugby games. I mean, these South America teams, Chile, Brazil's also a good team in rugby now. Argentina, you want to see these type of atmospheres. When Spain plays, you want to see this. You want to see the football atmosphere kind of go over to rugby. It makes it so much more fun to watch. But a really good win for England. Of course, not their most complete game, but still a very important game to win. A hostile environment. We knew before the game, because of the football in the week, there was going to be a lot on the line. The crowd was going to be even more against them. I mean, that Henry Pollock yellow card, there was so much booing going on, and you couldn't really, with the coverage from ITV, hear how much the crowd was doing. You couldn't hear how loud they were, but you could see how crazy they were going. It looked like such a fun atmosphere. I would have loved to be there without an England shirt on, of course, just as a neutral. I am a neutral, in fact, so I would have loved to be there, but it looked like a really fun game. But we'll go over everything. But before we do, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I really do appreciate all the support. Stayed up to watch this one. It's now 10:30 here in the UK. Obviously, I am a neutral for both these teams. I'm not an England fan. I'm not an Argentina fan. But I do enjoy watching both teams play. There was some incredible rugby on show tonight. So if you do enjoy the content, please stick around. Hit the subscribe button. We'll talk more about it. Of course, there's so much more rugby coming up. The Southern Hemisphere teams are now starting their season. There's the greatest rivalry series. The end of year internationals for the Nations Championship as well. There's so much happening. The World Cup next year. The Six Nations next year. I will be covering everything, so don't worry about that. If you do enjoy the content, stick around. So 31 points to England, 24 points to Argentina. We'll go over some of the stats in the game, some of the key stats for the game. Looking at the 22-meter entries, that's where I always like to start. 10 22-meter entries for England, 9 for Argentina, so very similar. England averaging 3.1 average points per entry, so that is really good. Entering the opposition 22 away from home, averaging more than a penalty per entry. The scoreboard is always going to keep ticking that way. Scoreboard pressure is the best pressure you need in international rugby. Argentina, an average of 2.3 points scored per entry, so not bad from them either. This was a really good test match, one of the more closely contested test matches today. Actually, the most closely contested test match today. Argentina looked like they were out of it early on. England started off fast, then Argentina crawled their way back, eventually got the lead. The crowd was on their side, but there was some individual brilliance from Emmanuel Faber, so some individual brilliant moments today. Of course, there were a few yellow cards as well. We'll talk more about those, but there was a lot of individual brilliance today, and England played very well in patches. So in all honesty, it is a very positive win for England. Not an 80-minute performance, but still, against South Africa, a good first half, or good end to the first half, poor second half, a very good game against Fiji, now a good win away from home against Argentina. A bit of a break now for these players before they go into the Premiership season, then eventually at the end of the year, the November internationals, 3 games at home for England, actually 4 as well, because the finals weekend at Twickenham. So a lot of positive things now to take from these games, a lot of things to learn from. We all know that England is a very good World Cup team. By the time the World Cup comes along, they'll be competitive, they'll be in the running. They've got a pretty easy bracket as well to go through that actually does suit them. So they'll be fresh by the time it comes to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals as well. They know they've got everything planned. They know they have a really good run to try win the World Cup next year, and they will be a lot better by that time. Still a few players injured, still a few players coming back, a lot of players putting their hands up as well. And as for Argentina, yes, they've lost these games at home. They lost to Scotland, a poor performance. They just beat Wales, and Wales isn't the best right now. They lost to England. But when it comes to Argentina right now, you can never count them out. They can beat any team on the day. They've beaten the All Blacks recently. They've been close with the Springboks. They've beaten England as well recently. They've beaten all these teams. They know how to beat the big teams in the world. When it comes to the World Cup, Argentina is always a team to look out for. They can always punish any team. So let's look at some of the other stats here. Looking at the attacking profile to see where the difference was made. 10 entries for England, 9 entries for Argentina, 3 22-meter conversions for England, 2 for Argentina, 7 line breaks for Argentina, 6 for England. It just shows how close this game was. 188 carries for Argentina, 96 for England. So Argentina had more possession. They didn't have more territory though, but they had more possession. They weren't more clinical with it. It was almost as if sometimes they looked a bit lost, like headless chickens running around sometimes. You could just see with the way they were playing. The structure wasn't there sometimes. A lot of one-off runners, and England did very well to manage that situation, manage Argentina having the ball, kicking the ball away to them, being happy to play without the ball, and just defending well. 25 kicks for England, 23 for Argentina, but I think the way England kicked was a lot more smarter than Argentina. Sometimes Argentina were kicking to just survive, but England kicked with a lot of variation. They had a very good attacking kicking game, and I think that was one of the reasons also why they won this game. 387 post-contact meters for Argentina. That is a lot. That is nearly a 400-meter track all the way around. England with 293 post-contact meters. So for both teams, a lot of post-contact meters, a lot of attacking opportunity. And you could see it with some of the plays in this game. There were some really good tries scored. I mean, that first try, Finn Smith in the corner, cross kick for Tommy Freeman. That was a brilliantly finished try. But then the things that boiled over. And you could see these things boiling over from a long time away. You could see these scuffles coming from a long way away. I mean, there was a lot of scuffles today, a lot of yellow cards, but that's just the nature of these games. Argentina and England, they always have a few scuffles. Of course, a lot of respect between the two nations, but they do have a little bit of a heated rivalry. They played in the third, fourth game for the 2023 World Cup. They've played each other a few times. They had a bit of a scuffle in the tunnel at Twickenham as well. A lot of history between these two teams, and it's building up every single time. But I mean, Argentina had the resources that they could have won this game. They had the carries, they had the line breaks, they had the post contact meters. They just couldn't get it done, which is a testament to England. They went to a hostile environment where Argentina was ready to try win this game. You could see some of those guys were back, like a Kremer, like a Matera, a Julian Montoya. All these guys were back for them. Not their strongest team, but still closer to their strongest team than they've had in the last few weeks. But they just couldn't get it done. So credit has to go to England for the way they played. Now looking at the defensive side of things, Argentina with 2 dominant tackles, England with 0. 287 tackles made for England. They were forced to make a lot of tackles, but that's the thing with England. They are fine defending. They are fine kicking the ball away, forcing Argentina into mistakes, forcing them to get penalties closer to the try line, just building the pressure, building the scoreboard pressure, building the scoreboard. And I think that's what England did very well today. They kicked the ball away. They were happy to defend. They defended very well. The defensive set piece was really good. And I thought today England was a lot better in all phases of the game compared to the other games. Of course, there were kind of areas where they were lacking, but they played very well in some patches. And I do agree with the commentator with the one thing he said. That was probably one of England's better performances so far this year. Of course, take away the Wales game at the start of the year. I think that was one of England's best performances of the year. And in patches, they looked incredibly good. Looking at some of the other things here, 53 tackles missed for England. That definitely isn't good. That is the worst tackle stat of the day. Italy was 42 tackles missed. I think Fiji was 34, and I think Wales as well was like 38. 53, they win for the most tackles missed today, but they were forced to make a lot of tackles. And those Argentina players are such athletes. They have such a good ability to beat defenders, power over defenders, which is why it's even more impressive that England didn't allow more tries, more entries to the 22, more scoring opportunities for Argentina while they had so much possession and while they forced England to miss 53 tackles. And with the amount of little carries England had, Argentina still missed 32 tackles, which is absolutely unacceptable both ways. But that's just the nature of this game. Physical, a lot of athletes all around. I mean, players were trying to make big decisions on defense. You could see that big rush up on defense. Jack van Poortvliet with a bullet pass to the left. Emmanuel Feo-Barbosa gets the ball with perfect timing, speeds over the line, and he is such a special player. He is one to watch for the future, and he's one to watch for now as well. So there were some very good individual performances. A lot of guys also trying to get stuck in. A lot of the yellow cards happened because players were trying to get stuck in. So they're not actually yellow cards where you can be too mad at why they happened. It's because players were trying to get stuck in. They were trying to make an impact on the game. Those things just happen at international level. So many yellow cards happen. I mean, I don't think there's been a weekend ever in international rugby since 2010. There probably hasn't been a weekend of international rugby without a yellow card. It's just not possible. There's so many international rugby yellow cards. It's just a part of the game. It's just about how you bounce back from that and how you manage the time with the play off the field as well, especially with all the little nuances of the rules now, with the little head collisions, the rugby incidents that get pulled back for yellow cards. There's always going to be cards. So England did very well to manage the period with the yellow cards as well. They won 6 turnovers today, Argentina winning 3. Both teams winning 3 tackle turnovers. England allowing 13 offloads in the tackle. Argentina allowing 11. Argentina with 52% territory, 48% for England. I mean, all over, the stats were very close. The game was close. Argentina actually had more possession, they had more opportunities to score, but England did very well to trust their defensive structure, kick the ball away, trust their chase line, get the ball back, force Argentina to make mistakes, and just keep the scoreboard ticking. So England did very well with that. But now looking at some of the best individual players, 10 points for Ben Earl today, 2 tries scored for him, 25 carries for Joaquin Oviedo. He was very busy today, one of the better players. Alex Coles, I did not realize this until right now. One of those silent assassin players. He's a key figure for the engine room. One of those guys you don't hear or see him too much, but he is busy. 35 tackles completed for Alex Coles. That is a leadership performance, leading by example, and England need more of that. I thought George Martin was okay today. He did step up physically, but Alex Coles, 35 tackles, he was busy. I thought Ollie Chesson was busy today as well. I thought the whole forward pack for England really stepped up today physically because Argentina brought it as well. It was a really good test match to watch, especially as a neutral. And I enjoy the scuffles. I mean, as a neutral, it's not affecting my team. I enjoy watching it. It makes the game more exciting. The crowd was into it. I actually wish I was there. 3 line breaks for Emmanuel Feiwa-Bosso. What a game for him. This is almost like a breakthrough game for him this year. He hasn't had that many opportunities this year. He's battled a few injuries, he's had inconsistent game time. A really good performance from him and really good to see. I think the England fans can be very happy with that. Matthias Moroni with 1 turnover won. Emmanuel Feiwa-Bosso with 12 defenders beaten. That's what you want to see from him. And of course, Gonzalo Garcia, who I think is a very nice nippy scrum half for Argentina with 88 successful passes. So a really good performance there from England. Argentina brought the fight today. They brought the competitiveness. They brought the intensity. But England was just too strong and played very well in patches. And I think for England right now, all they need to focus on doing is playing for an 80-minute performance and just getting a few more results to go their way. They've got 2 in a row now. I think they had 6 losses in a row before that, or 5. Not a good performance there for those other 5. A very good performance against Fiji. A kind of turning point in the first half against South Africa. The second half wasn't the best, but this game, a very good win away from home. A long travel back for them, but a well-deserved rest for them. Now for Argentina next, it's the world champs, the Springboks. They're either playing at a neutral venue or in Argentina. That'll be a very good game, and I think all the players will be available for Argentina for that one. So that's going to be very entertaining. That's going to be very exciting. And don't be fooled. Argentina are still a team that you cannot mess around with. They will go far in the World Cup. They are such a good World Cup team. They're a very good tournament team. And I mean, just look at some of the players they have. Marcus Kremer, Pablo Matera, Julian Montoya. Chocobares wasn't playing either. Carreras is awesome. So they've got the firepower to go very far and very deep into all the tournaments. And England have the firepower too. And without some of the better players, put in a really good performance here. I think Steve Borthwick will be very happy. But let me know which players was your man of the match. Let me know which players stood out the most to you. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree down below in the comments. And thank you so much for all the support. See you in the next one. Cheers.